to the Dr. Jane live on a Thursday, Miracle Medicine, looking at why the future of health starts here. And I want to welcome everybody this evening. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have all of you around from around the world. And we really do have our regulars that come in, and that's always awesome, and also the new people. So I've been focusing on the world, the trends. Last week I spoke also about the 2026 health revolution. Today I'm going to bring you a little bit more detail on why it starts here. Here being with me, 365 Healthy by Choice, HIELO, my process, and I'm sharing with you information that I've been delivering at various presentations at health pharmacies and various groups of people coming together. I've synthesized, what's also trending and why it's trending. And it's wonderful to see us reaching a turning point in healthcare. And also for me to get to the realization point where the discord is not inside anymore. And what I mean by that is when I started studying pharmacy way back when, there was always discord within me. And I knew that the paradigm that I was born into wasn't going to be the way I was going to realign people. And I also knew that that paradigm I was born into was never going to cure people. So I was in pharmacy with this discord all the time, looking for another way, looking for a natural way. I always had plants around me, natural substances, the earth, the sun, the planets. I was always very, very connected to all of that. And it's interesting to see how we do end up where we need to be. If you're not where you need to be and you're not living with passion and a level of happiness and joy, then I think we should question that and have a relook, because time is really short, time is running out, and we just have to, look at the world and we see what's happening. Fortunately, we are converging on a turning point there too. Whether it's, soon or medium term or long term, we're not sure either, but we do have to be aware of it and know that we're part of it. So these various incidences, and I'm talking about in the last 50 years or so that I know of and I've been aware of, come about to bring about change and to help us converge on the quantum collapse and then allow for a diversion. So a turning point is a quantum collapse. And that's what we do day in and day out with the emotional cleansing and the physical cleansing within the HIELO process. So it's all very exciting, I think, and very amazing to be alive at this time where we can actually climb out the box so quickly and so many times and have a look around and move and improve our awareness, deepen into consciousness, reach a 0 point, a point of divinity. We don't really know what's beyond that. So the quantum physicists are busy working on all of this, but we've got as far as a realization within quantum physics of ancient Eastern holism. Not so much only ancient Eastern, it will also be ancient African, ancient European, ancient North American, South American. The ancient part was always difficult to put into words, but quantum physics is able to measure it now to a point. So we do celebrate that. And I refer to my doctorate here because that is what my doctorate was all about, and presenting a multidimensional holistic quantum well-being framework. That's the HIELO, the holistic integrated epigenetic life orientation. So those of you who come in for scans and realignments and live blood or the oxygen drip clinic, acupuncture, infrared saunas, all know that this is part of the HIELO process. Included in that, the signature range, the 365 Healthy by Choice. And those products have been designed by me specifically to fit in with this future paradigm of health, the new paradigm. I think I've been talking about the paradigm shift since about 2012. So it's real, it's getting closer, and the spontaneous healing that I'm seeing on a daily basis right in front of me, people know it, they've self-transformed, they come in bouncing, knowing that they're different compared to a month ago. If they're coming back in a month's time, in a week's time, exactly the same. So it's evidence-based medicine. I can see it, I can measure it, and it's all been researched. So very lucky, I think, to be in this point of our existence today. And if I knew now what I knew when I was, say, 25 or 30, I think my life would have taken a different course, but it was part of my own evolution. So I'm just here to share and educate and recommend you do the shift, you do the transformation. I can't get involved there. I don't have your consciousness. I can work with you in the field, but you're the one who's directing it. You're the one who's going to take the 3 or 4 or 5 nutrients and actually take them at the right time and do the work. And it's just amazing to see. And I'm often really surprised, because some people just surprise me at how they, absolutely go for it. And then I see the other people that are so in their head, and they're going to find every conceivable angle and excuse. And you see their crutch. They're holding on to their hernia. They're holding on to the X. They're holding on to something, and there's a handbrake. And that's the space for the emotional healing, the holistic ancestral orientation, the whole work that I do, the repeated generational patterns. And I see that in, obviously, day in and day out as well, where those traumas from way back have been passed down through the blood, through the DNA, as molecules of emotion to individual people in order to shift and change. And we're sitting here at the end of the lines, holding the ball, holding the baton. And it's up to us. I think our decision is, are we going to take these traumas inherited in most instances? We've got 2,500 years of measured time, and that's a lot of traumas that could have happened. Are we going to take them to the grave, or are we going to deal with them now? And I know what my answer is. So, make your answer too. Let me move to some of the slides. It's going to be a little bit of, to see, they didn't come through for some reason. Let me just try again. A little bit of lecture mode today, but I think that helps just keep us focused. This is going to take a few minutes to bring that through. So have your pens and paper out, take your notes. Many of you have been with me since the beginning of the year, the focus being on self-love. Don't know about you, but I've really put that to the test. I've really done that. And I'm reaping the benefits of that. And it's amazing how when you are putting yourself first and considering self-love, you then develop real deeper peace, freedom, joy, unconditional love. And so I'm walking testimony to my courses, and I invite you to go and join too, and see where it takes you. We're going on our path, but to the left and right, bottom and top of us, there are opportunities to shift, and we call them. So we need to take that opportunity, and there we go, and these opportunities and shift. Or we can lick the wounds forever. I don't have time for that. It's not going to be me. So here we go. Let's have a look at the beginning slides. The 2026 health revolution, why prevention, peptides, oxygen, emotional healing are replacing symptom-based medicine. We're preparing for the age of prevention. And we've been talking about it, but quite honestly, we need to be eating those foods as if we had the worst disease you can think of, because those people, why do they suddenly start eating sprouts, organic nuts, seeds, wild mushrooms, bee pollen, spirulina, detoxification? Why do they suddenly come right at the end of the line when you've got to reverse this whole process? I think we should be consciously consuming foods that prevent an event. You will never 100% prevent everything with food. Why? The reason for that is because we have a consciousness, and consciousness prevails. So we're never going to address this with food. Nutrients help us a great deal, especially if they're quantum structured, like the 365 Healthy by Choice products. But we've got to do that emotional work. We've got to get that inner alchemy working for us, and we really have to kick out those root causes that are beyond the physical. I say to people, you can line this desk with the most fantastic, expensive, imported, you name it, products, but you will see at the end of the line that liver still doesn't quite shift, and that's because there's anger that developed epigenetically, experienced, shall I say, this lifetime, that developed maybe a long time ago. So I'm just sharing with you, my observations, what I've noticed, and how we go about realigning people using the HIELO process. A little bit more of that later, and how we get these results. And it's really just working with nature. So let's have a look here. The world is entering the health turning point, and I explained to you about a turning point, and that is when the bell-shaped curve does that and starts petering out, and the new bell-shaped curve starts. So at that point between the old and the new, that is the turning point. And there's a lovely book by Fidget Capra on the turning point, and I bought that book when I was about 18. I mean, there have been subsequent editions, but that book was formed one of the basis of my doctorate as well. So I'm just saying, we don't do things for nothing. I did a project on wheat, on the dangers of wheat, when I was 16. So even then already it was over hybridized. So go and have a look at your school projects and see what you chose to write on, because it gives us clues. I bought a book on alternative medicine when I was 15. And who knows why? My parents took us to the bookshop. That's the book I wanted. So I still have it. Very, very interesting. So in 2026, we're witnessing a global health revolution. Around the world, people are asking deeper questions. Why are chronic diseases rising? Why are hospitals overloaded? Why do you have to wait so long for an operation or treatment or whatever it might be? Why are people exhausted? It's unbelievable. The beginning of the year, people came in exhausted. They should have had a rest. They should have had a chance to rebuild themselves to enter this year, but they came back with hypoadrenia, adrenal fatigue. 6 out of 7 people are walking around with hypoadrenia. They're never touching the ground. They're never getting in the sun. They're sitting in four-cornered rooms, flat ceiling. There's no scalar wave, which you get in, for example, around Darwin, a round building with, for example, a dome, a thatched dome or a bamboo dome or something. That is a scalar wave room. No corners. That feeds you. I'm sitting here in a 4-cornered room. I'm sitting here with blue light coming at me. Here's my infrared, which I have on most of the time, and here are my blue reflective glasses, because sometimes I have 4 or 5 screens shining blue light at me. And it's very funny. I walk in the morning and it's still dark, and I walk like this because the LED lights are just shining straight at me, and it's just too early in the morning. So I do laugh at myself. But anyway, we've got to be aware blue light is worse than junk food. And it affects the pineal gland directly. It calcifies it. Your cell phone calcifies your brain. We're going to talk about brain. You know, the electromagnetic frequencies from the laptops. You know, I've got my time crystal that I wear every single day. My radiation levels are under control. I've got my earthing mat that we make right here to set up a positive a shield against the positive energy, to bring in the negative energy, because it's connected to the wall plug, which is earthed, and I've checked it. So I'm doing what I can. I've got umpteen different things that I put in my water to make the water plasma, to drink it so that my body can absorb it straight away. The mitochondria can use it straight away to make energy. So we're all, I think, doing what we need to be doing, and we need to be doing that. And just to get back to what I said, rather look at prevention. And I'm going to even say precision prevention. And that means you have accurately assessed your health risks, the root causes, and you're following a recommended pathway for you that you can remeasure with precision in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, and track your trajectory. It's up to you. Nobody can do that for you. And if what you're doing and what you're taking isn't working, isn't getting absorbed, and you're taking probiotics and you're taking flaxseed oil, well, then I'm going to question what you're taking. Is it synthetic? Because the body has to rearrange synthetic things. It has to rearrange denatured nature. And that takes energy. It has to rearrange tap water, for example. The body wants spring water. And we can buy it these days. We're very, very lucky. So we need to really address this exhaustion, this high level of inflammation, the anxiousness, the feeling of total depletion, no matter what you do. And I can tell you now, you can't heal if your battery's flat. It's very, very difficult. And it's also difficult to get the body moving as a therapist, as a practitioner, because you can only work so much with a client that's weak. You have to wait for them to get stronger and stronger, and then you can only bring in, maximized dosages. So don't get there is what I'm saying. And in terms of stress, the body, it's also a bell-shaped curve. The body will produce adrenaline, cortisol. It will produce all the stress hormones to the top of the bell-shaped curve, and then it can't anymore. And those stress hormones start reducing. When it gets to the bottom, that is nervous breakdown. So, and it plays out in all sorts of ways. We become insulin resistant. We become overweight. We go into blood pressure tablets, blood sugar tablets. Things all start going awry. And metabolic disease sets in. We don't have enough oxygen. We don't have enough. We're not alkaline enough. And then it's tickets, because it takes a long time to restore all this. Why are conventional treatments not solving the root causes? And you know the answer to that. So the answer is becoming clear. We've been treating symptoms instead of realigning biology. And tonight I'm going to explore the shift that's now occurring worldwide, a movement towards precision prevention and holistic quantum well-being. And I think that really sums me up. So now we're seeing the collapse of the symptom-based medicine, which I spoke about. And this is symptom diagnosis, 12-month repeat script. And then you go back, you're not well, you haven't been cured, another medicine, another 12 months, putting it simply. So modern healthcare excels at acute intervention. We know that. If you need it, you go straight away. Go to the ER, go to your doctor, go where you need to be. But struggles with chronic inflammation, degeneration, brain disorders, metabolic collapse, and emotional overload. Just what I've been speaking about. So if you keep going to conventional medicine doctors and health practitioners, Don't expect these to get better, because modern medicine, as a pharmacist, I know is not geared to help you. It's geared to reduce symptoms. Most people live in a state of silent biological stress. And the body whispers long before it screams. And we don't want to get to that point of screaming, as I said to you. That absolute burnout, cells differentiating, lack of energy, depletion. So the real question is, can we identify imbalances before disease develops? And yes, we can, with the HIELO process. So here we're talking about the rise of precision prevention. And that's me, Dr. Jane Mackenzie, and the HIELO process. So the future of health is now moving towards biological benchmarking, early detection of risk factors, terrain correction, that's the body, the homeostasis, cellular nutrition, and emotional recalibration. That is holistic health. This is exactly the system developed within my Mackenzie HIELO Quantum Wellbeing Compass. 4 stages we go through: reset, restore, rejuvenate, rejoice. And it's repeated, and it's repeated, and it's repeated. Every single day I'm going through this, every single week, every month, because it's an iterative process. We will never be happy 100% of the day. It's not possible. We're human, and we're developing, and opportunities are coming at us all the time. We can be discerning and say, well, that one's not mine. That one doesn't belong to me. But know which ones are part of your learning. And every day is learning. So it's about being in permanent reset. The structured pathway that I'm talking allows people to identify health risks early, close biological gaps, rebuild vitality, and sustain long-term well-being. And that is your internal barometer. You will know. You will be able to rate your level of happiness, your level of stress, your level of well-being. You won't be able to, you can already. Depends. If you're on a lot of medication, it becomes a little bit difficult because you do get cut off. So you do get a false sense of a false reading. So those of you that aren't on any medications, you're at the right place. Those of you who are wanting to wean yourself off certain of them because you're not getting cured, you're at the right place. Those of you who don't want to get anywhere near there, you're at the right place. So 5 major health trends driving the 2026 health revolution. The first one being longevity science. And I did talk a bit about this last week in the video, which all of them, by the way, are uploaded on my YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. And you can get more info there, a lot more. So people are no longer satisfied with simply surviving. They want vitality, clarity, productivity, healthy aging. And I always say we want to think clearly and live productively in all areas of our lives. And I don't know much more than that. The key nutrients that I have support this would be the active stem cells, the RNA, DNA, replica RNA, DNA, the integral collagen, the almost gold, just to mention a few. So the almost gold would be alchemical gold, silver, copper, nickel, all the platinum precious metal minerals are in here. This is a battery pack. It charges your battery. Nowhere do you see on the label anyway how much gold and silver is in the nutrient. So that's almost gold, M state. That is the highest frequency of anything I've ever measured, and that one is the battery pack. That one picks you up from hypoadrenia, from chronic fatigue. People that start that will just about take it forever. They love it. A very subtle energy, used on its own in the bubonic plague, just by the way, written in chapters. So, you know, there's more, because we're also looking at things like the brain fuel and the stress defense shield. These are the smoothies. I also have them in capsule form. Over 30 nutrients. I put them together myself long ago. They've got all the building blocks for longevity. They've got the proteins. The microbiome reset. These are microbes, and they're working in time, as the earth evolves and all the insects and the plants and animals evolve, and us, they're working with us, with our DNA. We're 90% microbial. 99% of our genetics is microbial. They're working with us to evolve us. So we need these microbes. We need the minerals, we need the oils, we need the microbes, and we need the proteins. And I talked about this too. The replica RNA DNA has got the 5 building block proteins for the entire body: uracil, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and adenine. So we don't need protein shakes. We need the replica RNA DNA made by bacterial cell wall fragments, vegan, to give the body the building blocks. And that is going to create longevity. We'll talk about detox in a moment. So this is the healthy aging. The collagen is important because the collagen gets hammered by parasites. They secrete an enzyme which digests it, dissolves it. And many people are also lacking connective tissue because the collagen precursor is not there. They're low in vitamin K. How many of you take vitamin K? Put your hand up. Vitamin K makes collagen. So if collagen is dissolving, your body's drawn vitamin K so high, you're going to just need it. Vitamin D, that's about getting in the sun and not washing for 24 hours. That's how the sheep build the vitamin D. Just saying. So, there's a cause for everything. So the second one is the peptides, and that is the replica RNA DNA. These are 5 building block nuclear proteins. We have it right here in front of us. Peptides are now recognized as biological signaling molecules. They support tissue repair, metabolic balance, cellular communication, and I'm going to say immunity, because you need protein to build your immunity, your enzymes, your hormones, your neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters, hormones build happiness. They build the serotonin. So if you want happiness, you need protein. So there's some more the same supportive tools because it's the same realm. That's why the future of health is starting here. Brain maximization, the third major trend. And people come in complaining about this all the time, often linked to the gut. The gut and the brain are often directly linked. Brain fog, burnout, neurological stress are now global epidemics. And that neurological stress will lead to pain. So here we're going to bring in mucuna purines, mucuna bean for neurological pain. Just saying. So bringing this up, we're definitely going to need oxygen, minerals, oils, microbiome reset. The oxygen, I think I'm going to use the oxygen and also cell oxygen, magnesium dioxide, and I'm going to use the DMSO, which also has oxygen and sulfur, plant tree sap, and we're going to start clearing the brain. And in 1 week, a lady just came in yesterday and she said, Jan, in 1 week, I can't believe it. So we got the blood flow to the brain. It was able to clean and clear and detox. We got the almost gold getting into the brain, crossing the blood-brain barrier, detoxification. So with my signature range, the 365 Healthy by Choice, it's about potentiation, not potentization. That's homeopathy. Potentiation. 1 + 1 is 3. 3 + 3 is 9. So the more I bring in, if I bring in alchemy, fermented product, a mineral salt, a herb, a superfood, for example, we're going to get a potentiation of effects. That's what we want because that's going to bring a result. It's not a one bottle story anymore. I want that one bottle, Jane, that's going to help me sleep. Well, if that's the case, you're still in the old paradigm, I'm afraid, because it's holistic, it's dietary, it's detox, it's lifestyle, it's stress, it's emotions. And I'm addressing all of that. I always have. So I think you're getting the picture from me. The brain fuel, the stress defense shield, I showed you already, the almost golden microbiome reset. So you see there's just this recurring element that's going to be driving the major health trends. And these products are multidimensional. They do treat cross-sectionally, as you can see. So there's very few we need to live on once we've done the detox. The detox can be parasites, it can be heavy metals, chemicals, environmental toxins, it can be fats, it can be proteins, it can be the liver needs to clear, the kidneys, the gut, the lungs, the skin, the spleen, the circulation, the lymph. And the 365 signature range has got all of these in it. So we really do take the body through the cleaning, through the washer. And you know it. You know you've cleaned, and each day you wake up and you're on a higher frequency. It's just too beautiful. And then as we're cleaning, then the body can do the things it's supposed to be doing. Proper repair. We've got the intravenous oxygen maximizer drips, really for chronic disease, chronic infection, chronic toxicity. The cell oxygen, the minerals, the zeolite, DMSO, and I can go on here because there's many. There's nattokinase to break up unwanted protein, and scarring and clear, get the cells apart. There's bromelain, there's glutathione, there's many other products that we bring in here. Gallbladder cleansing, decalcification, big one. When we are acidic, we calcify. Zeolite will address the acidity and more detox. And the Chancapiedra Decalci-X, you can look that up on the website. That one is clearing calcification, as well as, by the way, the decalcification flush. It's a 3-in-1 salt combo. And by the way, it makes collagen. So everything's feeding into everything here. Chronic diseases are concerning low oxygen levels, high toxicity accumulation, sluggish detox pathways. We're going to wake this body up. That is what I've showed you. Is stagnation, and you're going to you're going to have an acidic body there. An acidic body is dangerous, absolutely dangerous. The pH of our blood is 7.4. So the fifth major trend here is emotional and generational healing. So I've synthesized what I've been researching out there. The biology is not only chemical, it is emotional and energetic. It's actually non-verbal and non-linear. That is proper quantum holistic healing. Non-verbal and non-linear. Unresolved emotional patterns can contribute to hormonal disruption, immune balances, nervous system stress, just some of them. And this is when I bring in the HOW work, holistic ancestral orientation. It's an hour long, and you work with me in the quantum field. You do the transformation. I set it all up. We find the origin. We clear that trauma, bring it back down the line, and you are in your freedom. I've simplified it. But that is the multidimensional holistic quantum well-being framework. That iterative process: reset, restore, rejuvenate, rejoice. And this is where we're getting the most phenomenal results. And more than ever, people are just saying to me, "Oh, Jane, that's what I need." And then when they finish, they say, "Oh, Jane, I've never experienced anything like this in my life." So it's really honorable to be working with people like this that are shifting in somehow processes many emotional traumas, not just one. So the universe is speeding up, and it works with speed. And if it sees you want to work with speed, it works with you. It's simple as that. So people are coming in weekly. I've personally probably done about 80 of these in the last 3 years on myself. So, and I'm not going to stop. The invitation is there. So when we look at the HIELO system, what makes the HIELO approach different is integration, and not only potentiation and integration of the products, but of the whole process. So assessment, nutrients, and realignment. Benchmark assessments, this is where the precision comes in. Benchmark assessments using the NQB quantum device, the Q450 device, live blood analysis, pinpoints exactly where we need to be. Obviously, I'm doing an inquiry, so I'm able to get to the emotional disorders as well. And then the biological realignment is going to be the acupuncture, the saunas, the drips, and the nutrient repletion will be the 365 Healthy by Choice signature collection. That's plant-based, food state, nutrient-dense, and quantum structured. So I've got the tools that I need, all of them evidence-based, measured. None of it is belief. When you work in the quantum field, it's wisdom. And you know it because you're the one who's shifting. That's different from belief or knowing. It's actual true wisdom. And that's what I'm working with at the highest level. And then just a word on prevention is the future. The goal is not to wait until the body collapses. We want to think clearly and live productively in all areas of our lives, 365 days a year. Where prevention is better than waiting for when it's too late. So my goal is to identify the risk early, restore the biological terrain, and maintain that vitality. Once you've cleansed and everything, then it's living for free almost, because you're just maintaining that vitality, growing and deepening your awareness, understanding more about consciousness, understanding more about your own evolution, your own self-development, your own self-transformation, and eventually reaching your point of divinity, point of I. So we want, as I said, people to think clearly, live productively 365 days a year. So in March, starting from next week, I've got a 4-week 2026 Health Revolution series. And this evening's been an introduction to all of this. And I hope you've enjoyed it, because you can see I'm really passionate about this, because this is where 365 Healthy by Choice signature range is really at its best. It's doing what we need it to do. All I need are willing people, horses that are going to bolt out of that starting block. That's all I need. I can't do that for you. I can educate, measure, advise, point out, take the horse to water, and then the horse needs to drink itself. And hopefully it's the young heart horse, the galloping horse for this year. So I thought I had better find a place to put that in. But anyway, it is the year of alignment. And the precision assessments that I do and the way we put this together is total alignment. You are aligning you. So week 1, which is starting next week on the 9th, will be the age of prevention. Then week 2, longevity and cellular intelligence. And then week 3, brain and emotional terrain. And then week 4, detoxification, oxygen, and regeneration. So that's going to be fantastic. And then if you would like to begin your own health realignment journey, book your HIELO quantum benchmark assessment. And there's 2 options there. The Q450 will give us 450 readings, assessment only, and that's in South African rands 1,450. And divide by 17 if you want dollars. And the NQB quantum assessment device and treatment, realignment, is 1950, the first one, and then 1750 for follow-ups. And they're an hour long. And often I do run long-term programs for you as well at no extra cost. But the NQB is giving us 14,000 readings. So there's a significant difference between the two. It's working in real time with you. The Q450, the quantum frequencies are embedded into it. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. They all are. So if you are wanting to book, that's the difference. And discover your health risk red flags, the root causes of imbalance, and how to close the gaps. And we're going to use the 365 Healthy by Choice Signature Collection, nutrients, and the services, the infrared, the acupuncture, the IV oxygen drips, as treatments. And then we're going to use the benchmarking from the precision point of view. So there you go. You can contact me. The best is on WhatsApp, the best and quickest. And you can get your health going now for 2026. I think with this kind of a background that I've painted this evening, you're probably wanting to get going. You're probably wanting to get on that horse and gallop, because there's no sense in waiting. Time is running out. And every single day and moment counts. So I hope you have that same drive, same sense, same feeling, and working in the flow, not working with resistance. That's not going to work for us. So as I said, again, you can test yourself. Am I in the flow? Am I doing things lovingly with joy, etc.? Am I putting myself first? Witness yourself. Where are the blockages? Where are the handbrakes? And that course in self-love teaches you that, because there's questions that are asked. So get onto that course. It's on the website. Just go into the search bar and type in there self-love, and the course will come up. It was on special until yesterday. But I'm hoping to see lots more of you. And thank you so much for your time, for listening. And I hope I've cohesively and coherently put this information together, so that there's a kind of a cadence within you, that rhythm within you. So until next week, be good and enjoy and achieve and live this life that you came to live.